Welcome back to another episode of The Radio Psychs, your premier podcast for insights into everything mental health. I'm Dr. Aaron Haddock.
And I'm Dr. Rhonda Yu. We're psychologists who care about people and bringing science to practice.
And we're so glad to have you join us.
Please note that the information shared in this episode is solely intended for informational and entertainment purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Today's topic is more on humor.
That's right. More on humor.
Wait, we're not starting the episode with another bad joke.
What are you talking about? Bad joke? We only have good jokes here. Just call us the Radio Psych Comedians.
Dude, last time you told a "why did the chicken cross the road" joke.
Okay, first of all, that's incorrect. It was a "why did the psychologist cross the road" joke. And second, touche. Touche.
So...
Okay. A man was out for a walk one day when he was suddenly attacked, brutally beaten and robbed. As he lay unconscious and bleeding, a psychologist who happened to be passing by ran over to him and said, "Dear Lord, whoever did this really needs help."
That's terrible.
I know, but is it?
Maybe. It's definitely one that would fall under the category of dark humor. You know, the form of humor that addresses sensitive, taboo, or morbid topics in a manner that may be perceived as unconventional or socially inappropriate.
Right. Dark humor involves finding humor in situations or topics that are considered serious, sensitive, or taboo. Subjects like death, tragedy, or mental health issues, for example, may be treated in an unusually humorous or satirical manner. Why are some of us drawn to dark humor? What's the psychological drive for this?
For some people, it may serve as a coping mechanism. You know, studies suggest that humor, especially the dark variety, can act as a buffer against stress. It's a way for people to navigate through tough situations by finding a lighter perspective.
Yeah, it's something that many of us have probably used when we felt upset, angry, or overwhelmed. In fact, it can be rather common for those in high-stress professions such as healthcare, law enforcement, and social work.
That's right. Those who have careers that put them in front of trauma and crises often fill their days with dark humor, which may surprise some people given the nature of these jobs.
Yeah, this reminds me of something I read about hospice workers. Many of us probably don't automatically connect the words hospice and humor together. It's common for people to imagine hospices as these depressing places filled with sadness and grief. And it's true, there is sadness and grief, but they can also be filled with laughter.
In 2005, there was a study published in the American Journal of Hospice and Palliative Care where researchers observed nurses visit with patients in hospice settings, and they found that 85% of those interactions involved humor. It happened frequently and was considered a prevalent part of everyday hospice work.
Did they report on who initiated the humor?
Yeah, so interestingly, in this study, it was the hospice patients, 70% of the time.
Okay, so maybe dark humor is something we use to cope with the harsh realities and emotional demands of what we're experiencing in life. And maybe it also provides us with a way to navigate certain interactions with others, a tool for communication or connection. But does it have other functions?
Well, it's also viewed as a tool for expressing and reinforcing group dynamics. You know, sharing dark humor can create a sense of camaraderie among people, fostering a shared understanding and coping mechanism unique to their shared experiences.
You know, it's important to note that dark humor isn't without its controversies. While it might help individuals cope, there's the risk of it crossing boundaries and potentially causing harm, especially if it involves sensitive topics.
Absolutely. The intent behind the humor matters a lot. If it's used to demean or hurt others, then you'll probably see negative effects on well-being.
There's also the danger of dark jokes reflecting and reinforcing certain stereotypes and prejudiced attitudes.
Yeah.
And also, it's just not for everyone, is it?
No, it's really not. Some people find solace in dark humor while others may not because of individual differences.
Personality traits, coping styles, and even past experiences may play a role in whether a person will use or how they may respond to dark humor.
Some studies suggest that individuals with higher levels of openness and a certain cognitive flexibility might be more inclined towards appreciating dark humor.
In 2017, there was a study published in the Journal of Cognitive Processing where researchers observed an association between IQ and dark humor. They asked people with various backgrounds to read a series of bleak cartoons and indicate whether they understood each joke and if they found it funny.
They also had them complete a couple of intelligence tests and questionnaires that asked about their educational background, mood, and aggressive tendencies.
Right. And what they found was that people who showed a high preference for dark humor, the ones that enjoyed the cartoons the most, as a group, they were more educated, earned higher verbal and nonverbal intelligence scores, and reported a lower level of negative mood and aggression.
Hmm. What about those who showed a low or moderate preference for dark humor?
They earned average intelligence scores, but there was a difference in their reported levels of negative mood and aggression. As noted in the study, emotional instability and higher aggressiveness seemed to lead to decreased levels of pleasure when dealing with dark humor.
Huh. That's interesting. When you think about it, processing dark humor requires a bit more mental processing power than other types of humor, doesn't it? Not only does it require parsing multiple layers of meaning in a joke, but it also requires more emotional control to create some emotional distance between us and the content.
Aaron, as much as I'd like to keep talking about dark humor, we need to move on.
Sounds good. Let's talk about whether humor is something we can cultivate.
Yeah, can we learn to be funnier?
Hmm. There's some debate about this. Some argue that humor can be taught, while others believe it's an innate quality. There's evidence supporting both sides, suggesting a combination of nature and nurture.
And we can't ignore the impact of culture on humor. What's considered funny varies widely across different cultures, and understanding cultural nuances is essential to navigating humor effectively.
Absolutely. A joke that's hilarious in one culture might really fall flat in another.
So, let's say we want to cultivate humor. How can we go about doing this?
First off, exposing ourselves to comedy, whether through stand up specials, sitcoms, or funny podcasts, can help.
Man, I love stand up comedy.
Yeah, I do too.
Surrounding ourselves with funny folks is another avenue, right? Laughter is contagious after all.
Yeah, humor's a social phenomenon, so spending time with witty friends can be a masterclass. And speaking of unique styles, embracing your own quirks is crucial. Humor is subjective, and what you find funny might not resonate with everyone, and that's perfectly okay, as long as it's not offensive.
So, exposure, socializing, and embracing our unique humor. What else?
Well, diving into humorous literature like funny books, comics, or satirical articles can also broaden our comedic horizons.
And embracing our playfulness, right? Connecting with our inner child can be a wellspring of joy.
Oh, totally.
Aaron, we haven't talked about the research on the association between personality traits and humor styles yet, or the different types of interventions for eliciting laughter and how they compare with each other in terms of effects.
Sorry, Rondi. It's a vast topic, and we're out of time.
Okay. I guess that's a wrap then. Thank you for joining us today.
And please let us know if you'd like to hear more about this topic, a related topic, or some other topic. We're always open to suggestions for future episodes.
Until next time, keep smiling and finding the humor in life's quirks.
Take care and be well, everybody.
Take care and be well.